Watch this video before you buy a Fisher Space Pen. Hello everyone, and thank you for joining me today. If you're new to my channel, please consider subscribing. In my channel, I talk about everything to do with the office, and today we're talking about the Fisher Space Pen. Now, before you shell out the big dollars to buy a Fisher Space Pen, I personally shelled out $28 Canadian to buy this pen. I want you guys to watch this video because I'm going to be going over my first experiences with my Fisher Space Pen. I've never used one before. I actually looked online and I saw a lot of good things about the Fisher Space Pen. It was a little bit expensive for a pen. $28 is not kind of your everyday pen, but let's get into this and see if this is worth it. When I opened up my Amazon package, I was super excited to receive my pen. It came in the mail really quickly. So when I first received it, it looked like somebody already went into the package. My first impressions were so-so, but let's see if we can push beyond this. So let's go ahead and open it. Now, if you guys haven't heard of the Fisher Space Pen, there's a great video on how they make the pens. Just click on the link right over here and you'll see a really cool process on how they make this unique pen. This is touted to be used in space. Their ink cartridge is what makes it special. It's nitrogen filled, so it actually pushes the ink down when you use it. So this is the case that comes in. That's a pretty nice case. So there's a guarantee in here from Mr. Fisher himself. And in it, it says, if you're not satisfied with this Fisher Space Pen, return it directly to me for repair or replacement. A nice vote of confidence for the pen itself. There's different styles of Fisher Space Pens. The one that I got was brushed aluminum, which looks like this. There's some pretty good weight to the pen, a nice feel to it. And upon opening, it's a little small on its own, but if I fit the cap right over top of it, it fits really well. It feels great. Now, I want to see how well this performs as a pen. So we're going to go right behind me. I have a few things set up at my workstation. So let's go over and put this pen to its paces. All right, so the Fisher Space Pen is a rollerball. The claim to fame is that the ink cartridge is nitrogen filled. You can use the pen upside down. It can be used in space because it doesn't rely on gravity to feed the ink down. It's a pretty unique design. The fit of the cap is actually quite nice. There's a little rubber gasket here which prevents the cap from falling off. If we flip it over, it becomes a full length pen. So let's go. I haven't actually written on a piece of paper with this pen yet. So let's go ahead and give it a shot. So right's okay. I'm going to try using different pressure, so let's go with light pressure. And let's go with a little bit heavier pressure. It does actually write pretty smoothly. So not only does this pen write smooth when it's upside down, but it can also write underwater, over grease, in extreme cold and hot temperatures. And get this, it has an estimated shelf life of 100 years. Now, when I think about my $28 investment over 100 years, that's not so bad. That's pennies on the year. And in fact, this pen will probably outlive me. So that's why a lot of people consider this an everyday carry pen. They always have this pen on them, regardless of the weather or the conditions, you can write on it. But now that we've gotten a good idea of how this pen writes, let's put it through a really cool test. I'm going to try using this pen underwater and see what happens. For this experiment, I have an empty container here, and I'm going to fill it with water. If you're wondering how this Post-it note is sticking, it's not just any Post-it note, it's a Post-it note Extreme. If you click on this video right here, I show some applications on how I use this Post-it note Extreme. So we're gonna use this pen, we're actually gonna put it underwater, and you know what I'm gonna do is actually, I'm gonna leave the pen underwater for now, just as a test. And while that's getting soaked a little bit, I just wanna give a little plug, a little shout out, guys, to my sponsor, iCloth. Without iCloth as being my channel sponsor, this channel wouldn't be able to exist. They are a very good sponsor of mine. They make cleaning cloths. If you want to have a look at one of my latest videos on iCloth, click on this link and you'll get all the goods. So now that this pen has had a pretty good soak, what do you guys think? Do you think it's going to write? I'm very skeptical, but let's give it a shot. Oh my God. This is amazing. Seriously? Wow. You know, the cool thing is I don't even have to apply a lot of pressure to it. Even with a little bit of light pressure, it writes beautifully on this posted extreme note. This is truly impressive. Now, I don't know when I'm going to be writing underwater, but if I'm a diver maybe, this would be probably something that would work really well. Let's say if I'm writing notes outside in the elements, another good application. If I'm a boater, wow, this is like, think about all the different applications. Because it's going right underwater, this is amazing. Has a shelf life 100 years. Cost me 28 bucks. Yeah, it's a little bit on the expensive side for a pen, but the fact that it can do this, it's pretty amazing. Extreme cold and heat, that's actually quite important. With the extreme cold especially, I've had issues where my pen doesn't work. The ink probably just freezes over in the extreme cold. So this is really good for cold climates. If you're a researcher, for example, doing a lot of field studies, this would be a great pen for you. It has a great textured feel. It's the brushed aluminum, the version I got. And we'll just cap it up there. And you can see it just, because of this rubber gasket right here, it fits perfectly. And of course, if I drop it in the water, not a big deal. I can pick that back up and it works like a dream. This is going to be my everyday carry pen for sure. It's always going to be on me. It's so small to carry around. And when all pens fail, I know this one's going to outlast my life at 100-year shelf life. This is pretty amazing. So folks, this is the brushed chrome bullet Fisher Space Pen. It's amazing. I really do. I'm not getting paid by Fisher Space Pen to talk about this, but I can say that I'm very, very impressed about how well it performs. So what are your thoughts on the Fisher Space Pen? I'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment down below. Is it worth the $28? I think it is personally. If it has a shelf life of 100 years, it writes underwater, it writes in extreme hot and extreme cold weather. I mean, what more can you want from a pen, really, especially an everyday carry pen, where you just want to have something reliable, something that works. If you like this video, please feel free to share it with your friends, family, and coworkers. And of course, if you haven't done so already, please remember to subscribe. Tap on the bell so you can get reminded of my weekly video uploads. And I hope to see you guys next time.